Hello, everybody across the globe and all 222 countries. Welcome back to TartleCast. Thank you for all your support in supporting us and supporting yourselves. That's a very important aspect.
Yes, and appreciate. It's just been crazy the amount of people that are listening on the audio side because we get those numbers
just outside of just video.
Tripling every month.
Thank you, everyone.
So we appreciate everyone, and shout out to all of those in Pakistan.
Yeah,
We're getting so many listeners from Pakistan.
Pakistan, what up? You know what I mean? You're doing great.
It's awesome. Yeah, and then they've been signing up for Tartle. We even had somebody made a video.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Lahore's on the rise.
Yes, yeah.
If you've never heard of Lahore, Pakistan, look it up.
Yeah,
place is busy.
So I want to get into today, Mr. Alexander McCaig.
You always tee us off. I want to get into.
Yeah, I want to get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. Well, I get excited when I read these articles.
I'm freaking excited.
And I see stuff online, and then I send them to you, and we go over them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge word, and this great new pioneer in Bitcoin and people understanding cryptocurrency, Robert Breedlove, he wrote an article on Medium called Sovereignism Part 1, Digital Creative Destruction. We're not going to get into Bitcoin as much because Bitcoin is data, but I want to kind of use his article to springboard off the sovereignty that we have as individuals, and then the sovereignty that we have with our data.
Right. Should we, let's kick it off. I just want to talk about his first sentence here. Actually, I'll do the first two. It says, statism is a system of socioeconomic organization which originated in the industrial age. Statism includes all state implementations of capitalism, communism, fascism, and all other state-isms. It does not refer to these ideologies in any pure sense. It's just a thing.
Yes.
Some group or central authority creates an idea about socioeconomic principles. How does money and society blend together?
Well, and people think it's such a huge thing, and he talks about this. Communism, you display communism at your house.
I thought you were going to call me a communist.
No. But I mean, most people live a communistic life inside their home.
Yeah, it's the commune.
Yeah,
your house
exactly.
is the commune.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that you interact with your children and your wife or your husband, partner, whatever it may be,
Unless you're fascist.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not capitalism and communism, and he gets into this. Capitalism and communism is not that far off.
No, they're just state-isms. Mm-hmm. Anything that's a state-ism means anti-sovereignism for you. Okay?
And I heard this the other day, and I want people to understand this, and I want you to talk about this. There was a guy the other day, and he said, government is only one thing. And he goes, I'm reducing it down to first principles. He said, government is this and this alone. It is force.
That's all it is.
And if you really think about that, that's so brilliant, because we decide as individuals to give up to the government a percentage of our sovereignty collectively so that we have a military to protect us, because each of us individually can't do that. Trade, that this is what the Constitution was given for, trade, so that we could trade amongst each other, state to state.
Freely,
and then we can trade into other corporations, and we have a lot of power, so we choose to give them that. But why do we feel that the answer to our problems, culturally, whatever it is to submit our sovereignty and let them take force upon us, whatever government it may be?
Do you know, has no one looked at the data?
What happens when a country gets ultimate?
I literally have to say that. Has no one looked at the data? If you look at every single time in history we have done this, it has bit us in the ass.
Why don't people want to take responsibility?
That's a great internal.
Why do they want to give it to the government to handle the problem?
That's a great internal psychological question. And I think it's the perception that it decreases your risk of life. People don't want to think about things.
Risk, that's very, very important.
It's the risk of their own life and their own actions, right? They're like, I just rather have somebody decide for me. Some people don't even know what they want to eat for dinner. So they're like, I'll have the government decide what I'm going to put in my stomach. There has not been one time in history, not one. Look at the data. No NASA scientists would say, we need to keep going forward with all the government stuff. If you're really a data-driven scientist, you'd be like, we should stray away from that. Because the data shows every single time our economy collapses or we start killing our own people, right? It doesn't matter.
Well, look at the most successful empire, the Roman Empire, 800 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did they do when the weather got good in March every single year? They went to war every single year.
Yeah.
A government has to keep itself together and if it has ultimate power, and the only way that it can have ultimate power is by force. It centralizes it. You had, when you look at the Roman Empire, what did you have? You had Caesar. Then you had a group.
It's OG fascism. Do you remember it had the huge bundle of sticks with the axe head coming out of the top?
We have all of that in the Senate. And
it's called a fasci.
Yeah.
A fasci is a coalition of sticks. When you get the coalition, it means you have increased force.
Don't you have an eagle that's holding those sticks?
Yeah, you have an eagle that's holding the sticks, the fascism sticks. And the axe head on top is representative of God. Why is God represented in an axe head and then supported fundamentally by fascism? That doesn't make any sense. Why are we representing that everywhere?
Well, we have God as like the all-seeing eye on the pyramid or so worth a dollar. But I mean, we could put Caesar there. You could put anybody.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And this is what he talks about in the article. He says the status of implications arose in the 20th century when the only known mode of sustainable human organization was a top-down, centrally controlled nation state.
You want to know why? You want to know why? If they don't do this by force and get you into the psychological idea that you have to give up your sovereignty, whether it be data or something else, your technology will increase at a rate in a decentralized effort of self-empowerment to where they are no longer necessary. That's what they're scared of. Everyone's walking around scared of their governments. Governments should be scared of their people. And that's why they try to take these centralized, controlled efforts, telling you, we're doing the right thing. We got to put these policies in place for control. Because our technology makes them obsolete. We design it. We come up with these ideas. We all know that government's naturally inefficient, but what do humans always want to do? We want to be efficient. Nobody wants to go into a house that has a massive heating bill, do we? No. But that's what we're asking for all the time. In the metaphorical sense, by giving up your power to these people, I'll pay the huge heating bill.
And when you talk about efficiency, he says this, in the 21st century, digitization is devouring every inefficient technological implementation, from media and dating to advertising and travel.
Yeah.
In the sphere of staticism, digital tools are antiquating analog nation states by radically empowering individuals in novel and profound ways.
Okay, so in a sphere of statism, digital tools are antiquating. Our technology, everything that is created for our own self-empowerment, is antiquating analog nation states. Nation states are analog. They live in the past.
Mm-hmm.
By radically empowering individuals in novel and profound ways, we can evolve at rates that are superbly quicker than a government can evolve. The thing is, governments can't evolve. A stateism is maxed out. Capitalism, that's all it is. It can't evolve past what it is. Something new has to evolve out of it. A new breed, new something else. But it's maxed out. We've put it in a box. This defines capitalism. This defines communism. This defines fascism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We've put those in boxes. They can't evolve anymore. We've capped it. It's an upper limit problem. So when we create all these new technologies that don't sit in that bucket, what do? You have to leave those systems behind and work towards a new state of evolution. And we as human beings, individuals, can do that much faster than a state could do it because the state is capped. So what's the state going to do? We need to get as much control as possible. We got to keep people in this box and not let them evolve.
And he says this, and this is so true, and this is teased off what you just said. All states are shaped by technology. So they're they're tapped, but then they're shaped.
Shaped. Box.
So where is this technology coming from? It is our ability to be more efficient and produce energy with the tools that we have available that we've created.
Who creates the technology? We do, human beings. And then the state's like, we need control of the technology. Think about our national labs. We have 2 of them here in New Mexico. You have all this super high-end technology, but who controls it in the end? The state. They understand that technology is the control center. They get that. And they say if they can maintain control, that means they keep the border of their box in place and we can't get out of it. Because they'll always be a step ahead because they always claim ownership of the newest technology. Not you as a human being. Not you through your own empowerment. That's why you've given up so much about data. You've let them claim it. And the state is run by Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies. It's actually not run by politicians. It's run by capitalism. Capitalism is run by these companies, not by policymakers. And so when you give up your data to these people, you give your data up to the state. You're not giving your data to you. You're not taking your own empowerment. You're not allowing yourself to evolve at an organic rate. You're inorganically capping yourself. And last I checked, when things become stagnant, they turn into a swamp. They fester. The pH levels go off. It becomes acidic. What do you do then? You die. That's what happens.
So these governments are dependent off of us to create technology, and then they dupe. I'll use that word. They dupe us into thinking that through these corporations that they need to take our sovereignty by force, because that's what they're doing.
They look at us as a labor force.
Yes.
They don't say, "Oh, look at all the human beings." No, it's the labor force.
Yes.
I've said this before. The government uses the same statistics to measure cattle in fields and apply that to human beings. Our operative output as a human being is on par with how we measure cattle on a farm. Think about that.
I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm laughing at the absurdity of it. He says this: as a man has achieved more decentralized modes of securing property and persons.
And not as a man, as man.
As man, yeah.
Yeah. As a man.
As a man. No. As man.
This guy's a friggin' chauvinist.
New states have emerged. The world has endured a long progression from the tyranny of ancient Egypt to the representative democracies of Western civilization. In succession with these socioeconomic phase changes, I love how he uses that word and puts it in parentheses.
Because it's a phase.
Vast amounts of creative energy are freed in the form of productivity, profits, and capital accumulation.
Right.
So this is what's happening right now. There's a struggle because, especially, and he's talking, in the sense of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, and he has this in his bio, he says he's a freedom maximalist.
Yeah, I see
and
that.
Bitcoin is honest money. And he talks about how morally good Bitcoin is because there's no one... It's so decentralized, and there is no way for an organization to come in. As of now, they haven't figured any way to hack or do any of those things. It is so decentralized that it's honest money. It's you have miners that are working it, and there's a cost of that with energy. You have nodes.
That's the problem right there.
Yeah.
No. That's the only issue where someone will still have control. Until this fundamental idea of free energy comes out, cryptocurrency in the state of Bitcoin, when I say state, just the aspect of it, will always be cost prohibitive as that value of it goes up. The reason for that, because the mining cost gets too high because of energy. So much like when you go to mine gold, you have to get the machinery, the humans, you have to feed the humans calories so that they can operate. You have to put oil and you have to grease the hydraulics in the machinery, right? And then you have to have forges put together to create the tools to get this stuff out of here.
But but mining, just like I know where you're going with this, but mining, just like gold, there's a cost to it, and that cost, just like gold, is pretty honest.
No, it's totally honest. I'm not saying this isn't honest. I'm saying the only prohibitive thing in the future where a state will maintain control of cryptocurrency is through the energy system.
Oh, yeah, because they own the energy system.
They own the energy system. So the state still owns cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because if they cut all the energy off,
what are we going to do?
You have no cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
But then you have other bigger worries if there's no energy.
No, I know that. But the thing is, if they still control energy cost in a quasi-public or completely public manner, you can't do anything about it. That's essentially the price of Bitcoin to get it will always be rigged if the state is still in control of energy. And this guy in here, he quotes Nikola Tesla. Mm-hmm. Right? Nikola Tesla, he came up with quite a few ways where people could just grab their own energy out of the bedrock.
That was his idea, is to decentralize energy.
Yeah, because when you decentralize energy, which is the fundamental of all of this stuff, it's the fundamental. Once you decentralize that, government cease to exist. Bye. Gone. Completely gone. Everybody at their house can have their own farm. Everybody at their house can have their own infinite amount of energy. I can open up a forge at my house and create as much product as I want all day long. It's infinite at that point.
And if you have a free market, then it gives the ability literally for every single person
To participate. Yes, that's exactly right.
And he said this, and because I want to get into the Nikola Tesla thing in energy, but before that, I want to back up and go to this, because this is probably the most important statement I've seen in an article. He said, organizational well-being is maximized when individual sovereignty is prioritized.
Yeah.
And
Well-being.
He said organizational well-being. He said capitalism did this well, but was hampered by state intervention into the monetary and legal spheres.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing that now. So now you have Federal Reserve, and you have, everybody's an attorney. Every president we've had is an attorney, besides maybe Trump, but, Obama was an attorney. If you go through Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all these attorneys doing all of this legal. I mean, just to do your taxes alone, look at the manuals that you have, the legal manuals.
It's a joke.
So he says, even more deeply rooted in free market principles, sovereignty promised to be an unrivaled allocator of energy towards the higher satisfaction of human wants.
Right.
So
we need to unlock efficiencies in energy.
yes.
Bitcoin is helping unlock ways for us to be creative about how we mine things.
And we have to be sovereign with that. The individual has to be sovereign.
We have to make those choices because that allows us to progress so quickly. It says, he says, this is the purpose of society. By subdividing labor even more deeply, mankind's global treasury of knowledge grows ever richer, informing the development of better tools and system. So if we can allow people to be sovereign over their labor, what they create, whether that's mining Bitcoin or creating data, that allows us to have a global treasury of knowledge that gets richer every day. It's not capped. It's not depreciated in value through us printing money all day long. It's our responsibility to run nodes on the blockchain. It's our responsibility to take over control of our data, because in doing so, that allows us to evolve ourselves rather than having a state tell us how we should evolve as human beings. Human beings want to live. We want to live a long time. We want to live good, long, healthy lives. But when we're capped and compared with cattle and put in these ism boxes, this prohibits our natural evolution. Think about how far we would have evolved if it wasn't governments or quasi-government corporations coming in and creating all this military technology just so they can continue to maintain control.
Force. Yeah.
Force. It's all been them. I want to own the technology so I can increase force and say, this is my border. This is my stuff. The government? Did you ever ask anyone if it's okay that we put $1.3 trillion into an F-35 Raptor system that fails? Did anyone ever ask us? But some dude wrote on a piece of paper, yeah, it's fine. Go fund Lockheed Martin. Where was our choice?
But I mean, that's force. That's aggressive force.
It's force every time.
That is because if you really look at the Constitution and you go back, especially here in the United States, I know we have global, and I encourage everyone to go to their, because I know Austria and some of these other countries, have more freedoms than we do. And there's a list of that, countries that are more free based off of that. But even if you go to the Constitution, like I said before, all it was for us, the federal government was originally for a military and for trade.
That's all.
And that was, the federal government was supposed to be very, very, very small. And then states had the ability to be able to make those decisions
Each
collectively.
one was sovereign within itself, and then the sovereign states come together to say we are united sovereign states.
Yes. But if they want to make if Portland, Oregon wants to make a decision on, allowing marijuana and all, I think they had this thing where they allow all drugs, or they decriminalize all drugs or whatever. That's perfectly fine. Great.
Yeah.
And if the state next to it, California, wants to make all drugs illegal, that's up to those people.
Yeah. And if
those sovereign individuals that vote together, that's democracy.
Correct.
And we can make the choice. Do I want to live in Oregon? Do I want to live in California? That's our free will.
Nobody's asking anybody, though. They're just doing things.
And I want to get into, because we've got to close out this podcast. But next podcast, I want to continue this. I want to get into energy as truth. Well, because he goes into that.
Well, then that bridge to that is where he says, optimizing for individual choice. Optimize for you and me as an individual to choose is the most energy efficient strategy for socioeconomic organization.
Oh, that's so good, bro.
Does someone go tell a bee what they should do? The bee makes the choice, and through its choice making creates this beautiful organic system that finds itself being naturally efficient. That's what it'll do. That's where it goes. If you allow people to freely move from state to state, They would go to the most efficient states every single time.
Well, we're seeing that now with COVID.
No, I know, but that's what they do. But still, you got to change my license.
How many people are moving out of the inefficient? Yeah.
I got to sell my house.
Yeah.
Because I got a mortgage on it. I got to change my license. I got to call the insurance company. People are like, this is just too cost prohibitive. I can't go. It's too much. I'm too wrapped into the policies stuck here. I can't change states. That's what happens. Your choice is gone. You don't realize you were just throwing it all away, all your free will, all that stuff. If you don't have a freedom of movement, you're not free. If you don't have freedom of thoughts, you're not free. If you don't have freedom over the money, you're not free. If you don't have freedom over energy, you're not free. Hands down.
So how does, to close this out, how does Tartle give you that freedom?
Freedom is found through saying, this is my information. If you want it from us, you got to pay us because it's our value. It's our choice to claim this. And then we can choose what we want to do with our profits. We don't want to put our money towards an F-35 Raptor program. We want to put it towards helping the oceans, helping human rights. I don't want to put it into the military. I want that choice. Tartle offers you the choice to help human evolution, to preserve our species, not create new technologies to kill our species. That's the fundamental difference. And information at the core is the thing that fundamentally supports technology. And if you're trying to find efficiencies, that happens with data. So you need to take that control back of your data, because in doing so, it allows you to be efficient, to make better choices, to increase your longevity of your life and this planet.